Blah, blah, blah. Abide by community guidelines. Sure, sure, sure. Are we don't need this running. Okay, think it's think it's good. All right. I think we have successfully started the stream. Woohoo! All right, what are we doing here? Probably running back to work on the beach thing that I did in the last stream. Or maybe run over onto ooh, look at that nice bloom. Or maybe hop over onto Epic. I don't know. This was probably a I was gonna readjust something here. It's probably a bad day to be doing this, seeing as how it's Easter Eve. You know, there's probably a lot of people doing things for Easter Eve. I was gonna originally stream this last week, but that was April Fool's Day, was it not? Yes, it was. I thought as much, and I wasn't about to do a stream like this on April Fool's Day because everybody would think it was a joke when it was actually not a joke. So that's why it's this week. Maybe I should have pushed it off till next week. I have a feeling it's going to be a very, very, very low turnout. Wait, what is all this desktop audio? Oh, is that walking sound? Does this have a walking sound? It does. And it looks like it might be very loud. Let me turn down the desktop audio so that we're not... Okay, it still seems quite loud. I don't know. I guess I can always do this. Okay, well, hopefully it's working. YouTube seems to not like the amount of data coming in. Let me fix that. Oh. Yeah, I suppose I should successfully. Connection timed out. How can a connection time out when it's literally like 30 feet away from me? Don't I connect to this locally? Or am I actually connecting over the internet to something that's a local server? I guess I'd probably have to enter the local IP rather than the external IP for this to work the way it's intended to. The way it's intended to being, what did I just do? Oh, I painted it. The way it intended to, as in, being a local connection and not. Anyway. Hey, we got Silicone Penguin and Bubba Frog in the chat. Howdy, fellas, gents. We'll see if we got anybody else coming. I don't know, I doubt it, as I was saying earlier. Easter Eve was a bad time to pick. But last week was April Fool's, so I couldn't do it then. I don't even think I need that. Yeah, we'll do this. And, yes, I remember you, Bubba Frog. Yeah, last week was April Fool's. Didn't want to do a stream then because people were going to think it was a joke. Also, okay. I gotta hop away in like 9 minutes, but then I'll be right back. I gotta take care of a little something that's cooking in the kitchen, if you know what I mean. That makes it sound like I'm doing drugs or something. I am not cooking drugs. We got some cinnamon rolls in the oven for Easter brunch. Because somebody else had already elected? What's the right word? Elected, probably. Oh, Square Pegs here. Somebody else had already said that they were gonna make what do they call those things again? Resurrection rolls, I believe. I've never actually made them. I just stumbled upon the recipe the other day. This is like 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I was like, oh, I should do those, and I was gonna. If you don't know, it's a bun, I guess, technically. You take a marshmallow, like a big roasting marshmallow, and you kind of put that in the middle of the bun, and then you wrap the dough around it. The recipe I was looking at, you coated the... I think you took the marshmallow, and I think you just dabbed it in cinnamon. I don't know if the whole thing, I don't remember. And then you wrap the dough around that, and then you cook it. And the marshmallow melts out when it cooks, and you end up with a bun that's got a hollow space in it. It's supposed to be symbolic of Jesus resurrecting from the dead. Because I guess you bake them for 3 days? No, you don't bake them for 3 days. But it's supposed to be symbolic of that. I don't know, neat idea. I was going to give it a shot, but like I said, somebody else had opted to do that. So there went our plans. So instead, cinnamon rolls, which I've been meaning to make for a while anyways. So, it worked out, sort of, ish. It's just I wasn't planning on making cinnamon rolls today. That's all right, though. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. They should be good, hopefully. Never made cinnamon rolls before in my life. I don't know why I didn't fill this all the way in. I don't know what I'm putting down over here either. Maybe a building or something. Have I seen Pipkin Pippa? No idea what that is. So no, I would have to say I have not. If it's a TV show, we don't really watch TV, so definitely not that. I suppose we may as well just dive right into the topic at hand instead of dragging this out for really, really long. Oh, I should mention right away though, that picture of the moon really has nothing to deal with anything. I just needed a picture, and that wasn't even the best picture of the moon I had, but the good one that I wanted to use, the picture was too big, because it was zoomed in too much to the moon, and so it was bigger than the 2 megabyte file size I was allowed. So I just took a different picture of the moon, that the moon didn't fill as much of the screen, so there was more, just black surrounding it, because, JPEG compression makes that take up less file size, and so it worked. But it was literally just there because I needed a picture of something. The stream has nothing to do with moons. Nothing at all. A VTuber? Yeah, I don't know what VTube is, so I would definitely not have seen or heard or anything about that. I'm assuming it's like an alternative to YouTube or something. But anyways, I digress. What was the thing called here? I should have prepared a little better. What did the doodad here say? Oh yeah. So can I not see the description now that I'm streaming? Are you serious, YouTube? This is stupid. Anyways, so I can see the short description, which just says, you've probably noticed I've not been posting many videos these days. In this stream, I'll be something. Oh wait, I think I can edit it. Here we go. I'll be talking all about why. Well, I don't know how much all about is. Oh, evidently wait, but if it's a YouTube channel, then why is it a VTuber? It's a YouTuber. Whatever. That's not what I'm here to talk about, so I'm not going to talk about it. What I am here to talk about is I'm going to make more money. Let me actually just try to pull this up real quick. I don't know how well YouTube lets me do this. I've mentioned this in the past a few times. Let me actually just throw this over here. Let's see here. So if we go to analytics, YouTube you don't make a whole lot of money. Can I do lifetime? I can do lifetime. Let's see if this actually works. It's going to take quite a while. Okay. So this is per YouTube's analytical stat, whatever stuff. Final amount may change at the end of the month. Previous studios are processing for estimated revenue. So according to YouTube, I started this specific channel Friday, July 28th, 2017. And then it sat until 2019, August of 2019. I think that could have just been how long it took to become what's the word? To become a part of the partner program. Is that what they call it? Anyway, so I became eligible for ads. I think 'cause I had to have 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 hours of watch time or something. I had transitioned it over from an old channel because Google, in their brilliant genius, made Google Plus, which they didn't discontinue several years after that. But because of that, your YouTube channel was linked to your Gmail, which was linked to your Google Plus. Everything was linked together and all had to have the same name. So either all of my personal emails would have to say that it was coming from Minetest videos, or it would have to say it was coming from me, but then my YouTube channel had to be my actual name. It was stupid. Dumb thing YouTube did, and Google and everything. So I had to start a new channel. Anyways, that's kind of neither here nor there. So in, what is this, 17 to 23, that's 6 years, right? I've made $236.21. Because that's super well worthwhile. I don't know. Can I see... Come on, YouTube. You have to tell me, like, how many videos I have or how many hours worth of video, right? I don't think it's gonna. That would be too easy. Because if you go to the content page, it just tells you... Well, it really doesn't tell you anything. It's pretty bad. Okay. So I have 700,000 views, 1.4 million impressions. But that does not tell me anything... I couldn't tell you. Does not appear as if they give me that information. I was hoping it would say, like, you know, X amount of hours of content. But no. Okay, well, that's, how do I get back to this? I guess I don't have to, because I got the pop-out chat. So anyways, and I've long held to this opinion that you shouldn't do something on the internet for free if you're trying to make money off of it. You know, and if you've been around for any great length of time, you've heard me say that. And it turns out, hey, when you do something for free, you don't make money off of it. Who'd have thunk, right? However, it turns out there is how do you express this without saying too much? I don't want to dox myself, essentially. I've started up a small business. I can say that much without doxing myself. I can't really say what it is. It's kind of a niche thing in the area that nobody caters to. Except now I do. So I'm starting up a business, and I'm still doing my full-time job as well, because, you know, I'm only starting this business. I don't know how, what's the word? Not feasible, but it's like feasible. Anyway, we'll just use feasible. Maybe that is the word I'm trying to think of. Except I already thought of it. But I don't know how it's actually going to pan out. How much money I'll actually be able to make off of doing this. But I do know this. It's definitely going to be more than YouTube. And I'll probably actually be doing less time for the amount of money made. Because let me just pull up a stat here real quick. So if we look at the we'll do last 90 days. In the last 90 days, $9.30 of revenue. I don't know if YouTube likes people talking about this. I don't care at this point. I could pretty much make one sale and easily make more than $9. And it would definitely take less than 3 months. I'll be right back. I got to pull those rolls out of the oven before they burn. Hello? Hello? There we go. Sorry, I forgot to unmute the microphone. Whoops. Oh boy. I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Over 1,000 videos, yeah. Yeah, I am kind of quitting YouTube. That's the long and short of it. But it's a little more involved than all that. Let me try to do this. This is going to be semi-inaccurate. Because I keep a backup of all of my Minetest content that I upload. Some of the mod reviews, anything in the last year and a bit probably, have been exported in 2K and 1080p because I upload to multiple platforms, and some of the platforms only accept up to 1080. And this also includes some thumbnails on my NAS in the Minetest folder, whatever you want to call it. There's 3,153 items, totaling 1.6 terabytes. So that doesn't really tell you too much, but I have made a lot of content. I'm not completely stopping to create content, however. It's just gonna be very sporadic. So instead of, and it's been pretty sporadic for a while here already, honestly. Because I've just been busy getting the business set up. Just got the LLC finalized day before yesterday. These last couple days, just got the LLC finalized. I wish I could say more, but I can't. There's a certain somebody, which depending how long and depending how involved you've been with Minetest over the years, I'm not gonna say who, but there's this guy who would send out death threats to people, and I can't say the word on YouTube because they don't like it. But he'd can you even spell it out? How do you struggle snuggle? I know is what some channels use. You can probably figure it out. Yeah, he said he wanted to do that to me and my wife and kids. Said he wanted to kill us. Yeah, super great guy, super nice guy. Couldn't wish for a nicer person. So anyways, due to that, I am definitely not disclosing any information about what it is we're doing or, anything like that, because if I told you, I'm sure there is a database somewhere, somehow, of LLCs that you can search through, and then you can find out who registered the LLCs. And because it's actually government legal entity kind of thing, you have to use real information. You can't lie and use a fake name or fake address and stuff. And then you can find out exactly where we live, and yeah, somebody could come and kill us or do bodily harm or bad things. Oh yes, thank you for asking, Silicon Penguin. Servers are all staying online. I am not taking any of the servers offline. They cost me $0 to run. They're, like I said earlier, they're 30 feet away from me in the next room on a server. But it runs some other things that we use around the place. So the machine would be running anyways. We have to have internet anyways for the business and stuff. So the servers are not going anywhere. And actually let me see if I can find it. I just stumbled upon this the other day. Here we go. Simple Dialogues is what it's called. That's, okay, I guess it's been sitting around for a while. It was originally posted June of 2022. I got to look into this, but it's a mod that lets you. It says here, this mod allows you to add dialogues for NPCs and other entities controlled by an in-game text file. I want to do something like this for. Why can't I think of it? The Ripoff of Among Us. In Our Midst. That's what it's called. For that server, where there'd be entities, and the entities could give you quests, so that way you could earn XP. which would be available both for people building levels and for the main lobby, which would be handy because that would let me have another method of people earning XP so that they could buy the privileges and the buttons and stuff to build levels. So I want to look into that, but slightly busy with that. Did I report the person that threatened me to law enforcement? What? No, I did tell my employer, though, because he was sending emails to people's employers, too, which I don't know specifically how he would have found that information out. But no, how would I report something to law enforcement from some rando sending me an email? I don't know what his name actually is. I don't know where he actually lives. He claims, well, I can say this, he claims to live in California. It's really weird about this guy. He claims to live in California, claims to be homeless. He's got like 6 different websites, or at least different domains that might all point to the same actual hosting. So they might all the domains might all point to the same thing, essentially, because you can do that. He claims he like wrote software for some voting thing, and he just had tons and tons of money, but yet now somehow he's homeless and he's living on the streets, but yet he has internet access and he writes stuff. He writes terrible poetry, by the way. I'm pretty sure you, if you know who he is, you definitely know who he is. Kind of a crazy guy. Maybe he's dead. I haven't seen anything posted from him for some time. So we can only hope, right? Am I allowed to say that? Is that like against YouTube's terms of service? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It probably is, because I'm like wishing harm on somebody. I think that's the right spacing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. So it'd be one over one more. Yeah, there we go. So no, I did not report it to law enforcement because what are they gonna do? A, it wouldn't be in our same jurisdiction, and I don't think it's. Whoops. I don't think a couple of emails because there are several of them. In that case, yeah, I don't think there's anything anybody could do about it other than like just keep reports of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that way, if something ever did happen, and I was forced to use deadly force to protect myself, there's at least a paper trail saying, hey, this guy's kind of out there. He's kind of, this wasn't without provocation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, good. Got that right. So yeah, anyway. Also, however, it wouldn't really matter if I could tell you because it's a local thing. I can't do this over the internet. So unless you happened to live nearby, you could not hire me to do anything for you. So it really is of no point. It's not like, oh, I'm missing out on a huge business opportunity because I can't shill my new small business to all these people on the internet. Because it's not really like that. Why did the person do it? Evidently, you don't know who the person is. How I got caught in the crossfire, I don't specifically know. But the reason they did it, besides just being a general weirdo, believe it or not, it had something to do with Minetest. Because of course it did. What was it? Something with the sneak glitch, was it? I think. I think that's what it was. When the sneak glitch was removed, I think there was some kind of a spat that happened between some peoples. And for some reason, this guy just kind of went off the deep end after that. I don't know why. Why was I going to do a crosswalk? I don't need a crosswalk. It's a corner. I'm just trying to remember how to build this corner here. And clearly, I'm doing a horrible job of it. So it should be a light at the corner, and then this should come away. So this should be right then. No, this is wrong. So this shouldn't be here. That should be the grass. And then the sidewalk would go right there. So yeah, I don't know specifically how I got caught up in it. Because I had nothing to do with that spat. That was very early on in like my involvement with Minetest, from what I can recall. I don't think. I mean, I know I was definitely, because I'm still a nobody when it comes to Minetest. But I definitely was more of a nobody back then than I am now. So yeah, I don't know why he decided to start sending me these. I think he was just bulk sending them to a ton of people, honestly. Because, like I said, there was somebody else who their employer was contacted, and he said some pretty horrible things about him. And then he made just a lot of really egregious claims about all kinds of things. What do I do for corners? Do I just not put a thing in a corner? Oh, I don't. Okay. Well, hey, that makes that easy enough. Oh. Well, good to know I'm not the only person, I guess, although that sounds terrible for everybody in both of these situations. Gash up your house multiple times. Thankfully, he's never shown up at our house because he doesn't know where we live. And we definitely want to keep it that way. Oh. This person was arrested. Said he was mentally... You know, the guy that sent me these emails, he definitely came across as missing some screws. But, again, you never know, like, just how many screws are they missing, you know? Are they missing enough screws where they're just saying stupid stuff? Or are they missing enough screws where they're actually going to do something stupid? You know, and that's the great danger, because you don't know. And so you always have to, even though it's, you know, kind of awful, you always have to assume that they're missing enough screws that they're going to do something terrible. Because otherwise you're caught with your pants down. And that's not a good place to be caught in, clearly. I mean, because it's probably it's probably public indecency. Although if you're on your own property, could it be considered public indecency? I don't know. It's kind of neither there. But if something were to happen and you weren't prepared, you know, then you have to live with that for the rest of your life, assuming that you're still alive. So yeah, it's not a great situation to be in for anybody. But yeah, thankfully, always used fake names, at least for anything that was public like this. So don't have too much to worry about, hopefully. I mean, unless somehow somebody were to get my real identity, which would be bad for many reasons. Not just the fact that some psychopath might come and try to kill us and stuff. Okay, let's see. We lived under a crazy Christian guy that drilled for over a year, but not advancing. He drilled for over a year? I don't know exactly what that means. That sounds terrible. What's up with Minetest lately? You know, actually, surprise, surprise, this was not planned at all. 5.7 just released. Where did I find that? The release notes someplace. Take a quick look at them, see if there's any... What? Why is that not... Here we go. 5.17. Wow. 5.7.0. Released 6 hours ago. There's already been 5 commits to master since the release. Well, what? I don't think I'm running... Oh, okay. I thought like military drilling, like a what do you call that guy? The drill sergeant. That's what I thought. So anyways, 5.7.0 just released 6 hours ago. I'm using a dev build, so it's pretty close to that, but maybe not quite that. The month in what was it called? Month in Minetest, which for some reason, yeah, here we go. Nope, here we go. Blog.minetest.net. What do we have here as the latest? I think the issue was, oh, you know what? There's actually a blog post from today with the release. That's neat. The last one is February, which was posted middle of March. I think the issue here has been that people have not been writing content for the blog. Because I want to say Mr. E heads up the blog, but he doesn't actually write all the content. He relies on people contributing content to the blog. Pictures, article. Can we really call them articles? I don't know, maybe not. But for the February one, looks like Mr. E, Ruben Wardy, Zuggy, Wuzzy, Sakel, Peppermint Patty, and Rollerzixa. I don't know how you pronounce that. All contributed stuff. And then it looks like we have something here for Minetest, the new release. Let's see what we've got here on the blog. You know, I should see if I can't share my my web browser. Make sure I don't have anything here that might dox me first. No, we look good. Okay. I think we want this. We want to add a new one. And then we want to do this. Hey, here we go. Oh, that's not quite what I was expecting, but that's fine. Can I zoom in on this text? There we go. And then maybe if we do, do this. I'm just trying to make it fill the screen a little bit more. Hey, there we go. Okay. So what do we have here? Because I haven't seen this earlier. You can download Minetest from the website, as always. It should be hitting the daily. There is still the daily PPA, I think. Do people still even use those? Personal package archives, Ubuntu things. I just build it every day at 4 a.m. There's a cron job that runs on the computer here, so I don't know. But it looks like we have post-processing, bloom, and dynamic explosion made it in. I'm gonna have to see about. I think there's settings you have to enable these things. Yeah, here it says here, mods and games have control over these effects can be enabled on the client. Part of Minetest design philosophy is to give more control to the game creators. This includes giving games more control over graphics. So that means probably have to update all the games in order to make them able to use the features as well. Supposed to have stuff for HDR. Neat. I don't think my monitors support that, but still neat. Improved long-range performance on oh, I remember reading about this. Let's do a quick test. So let's hide this. This is a terrible place to do this test, actually. So let me hop over onto Epic. Only because there's actually stuff there. And the view range could actually mean something there. Versus on that server where the view range has 0 meaning. Because there's nothing there. Okay, so we're going to put view range up to, oh, I don't know, 1,000? Let's try 1,000. Can I do unlimited? I don't know how to change that. Actually, I think they just changed that, so you have to set it yourself. Decrease range, increase range. That's not even accurate. What? No, that's not. Block bounds. I don't want that. Zoom range. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. Idiot. Looking at the wrong buttons. Okay, it does not look like there is a chat or a keyboard shortcut I can use here. Range select. I don't know what that means, but we'll try R. What does this do? Oh, that is in the unlimited or limited viewing range. Okay, so we have unlimited viewing range turned off. I'm getting 50 frames a second. We're going to have to get some stuff cached in here, though, so that this actually means something. 60 frames a second. No, I did notice, super happy about it, too. Jungles, for some reason, I don't know if it's computer thing or if it's Minetest thing. Jungles actually don't kill my FPS anymore. Okay, so at 1,000 viewing range, which I think should probably be covering over to there, still chugging at it's averaging about 50 frames a second, and I think I have it set to cap at 60. I think I have to upgrade the server here. There's been some changes for block sending stuff too, and I think a server update is required for that because that's a server side thing. I'm just trying to fill in some more of this landscape here. Still doing a respectable 45 frames a second. Very playable. And of course, again, I'm pulling all of this stuff in, so that's probably not helping things at all. I expect once it's more loaded in, the frame rate should go right back up. Okay, or not. We're sitting at 30 frames a second right now. And then if I flip this here. Oh wait, that's still not even 1,000 blocks. Let's lower this down. How many blocks is that? Or maybe I should be asking how many blocks is 1,000 blocks. Disabled unlimited. Okay, here we go. So we can see the fog going out. Once the house is not foggy. Oh, so we got to be about 1,000 then. We're still getting 30 frames a second. Of course, I'm quite high in the sky here. So let's drop down to the ground for something to be slightly more realistic. I must have something that gives me good jump, because wow, am I jumping good. Let me take a quick peek at my armor here. Oh yeah, I have a jump multiplier and a speed multiplier. Okay, because I've got the admin crown, I've got everything. For some weird reason, we're sitting at 30 frames a second right now, which I don't understand, because there's literally nothing that should be eating up the frame rate. What was that all about? Oh, is it the water doing it? Nope, because now we're back to 50. And now we're back to 38. Okay, I don't know what that is. Anyways, it seems very playable. And that's at 1,000 viewing range. If we drop this down to something slightly more conservative, I usually have it at about 550, 600 or so. Yeah, 550. We're getting 52 frames a second here. And now keep in mind, this is also, I've got shadows turned on. There's bloom going on here. I don't know if there's the God rays thing, whatever that's called. I don't know if that's enabled here. I don't know how I would even tell for that. I guess look at the sun through a tree. Yeah, I don't think that's enabled here. Anyway, graphic improvements on that matter. The Discord was always super busy. Yes, Discord was. Let's see. I want to find a jungle. Because jungles were always the worst. I don't know why. There was just something about jungles that just killed my performance. And everything else would render at like 60 frames a second. Start looking at a jungle or walk into the jungle and it would drop to like low 30s. And that hasn't happened anymore lately. But I've got to find a jungle first to see if that's still the case. Come on, where's a jungle? There's got to be a jungle around here somewhere. Or maybe somebody has a teleport thing to a jungle. That's always a good way to try to cheat, right? We've got some outposts, global network. Outpost, drink shops, underwater dungeons, mountain base, blah, blah, blah. Lower cave, oases, apartments, the jungle starting village. Hey, What do you know, man? What do you know? There's a jungle. All right, so here we are, sitting in a jungle. At a sweet 60 frames a second. This was never possible before. Before being like more than, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. When whatever changed. I don't know if it had something to do with the leaves, because there's always a ton of leaves in jungles. Or what it was, but man, it sure is nice to have a good frame rate in the jungle. Okay. Let's get back to looking at the release notes and stuff here from the jungle. Okay, yes, we got Minetest, well known for supporting old hardware. This is true. I think it still works on Raspberry Pis, which is pretty impressive because those are very low end. Minetest is a setting that allows better use of the GPU when uploading world data. Oh, is there a setting I have to change? Oh, yes, I do. Okay, well, good to know. Looks like a Steam Deck, which I have no idea what kind of hardware that runs. Looks like it raises from 10 to 53, so that's not bad. Occlusion color. I don't know if that's it's multi-threaded, so I don't know if that's a server or a client thing. I think that's a client thing. Yeah, it says a client. Okay, so that's a client thing. The rotating entity selection and hitboxes actually made it. Nice. It doesn't change anything for collision, so that's still it is what it is. But the fact that the selection and hitboxes can change, man, that's gonna be so nice. I'm sure that's a thing that has to be changed in mods. It won't just happen by itself, but good to know that it's there. Android, I don't care about Android. Mods can find a player's window size. Nice. And then we have the full changelog and stuff. Let's see here. Daddy boy. For me personally, it seems like there's more important things missing from my test than these graphic updates. Quality control should be the main focus, in my opinion. What I can say to that, maybe... Oh, there's something sneaking up behind me. Maybe you'll like, maybe you won't like. Don't know. But when you have a group of volunteers working on anything, quite honestly, be it Minetest, be it, renovating a playground in a park, you probably can't do that for a whole myriad of legal reasons, but it was just the first thing that came to mind. Whatever it is, when you have people volunteering to do stuff, they're only going to do A, the things they know how to do, and B, the things they want to do. So when you have people that are interested in doing graphics and know how to do graphics, that's what's gonna get done, even if there are things that the wider collective might think are more important to be done. Like you're saying here, better UIs and quality control kind of stuff. I don't think there's probably anybody that really disagrees with that. But if there's nobody that's willing to do that and not get paid to do it, it's not going to happen because nobody's really interested in doing that. Somebody is trying to kill me. Okay, well, nice try, Bucko, but I got super jump because I got springy shoes. Oh, I suppose I should have turned that off. Anyway, they didn't really abandon Minetest game. They just put into maintenance only. Just not getting any new features. It's still getting bug fixes. There's actually a handful of bug fixes in Minetest game. Let me pull that back up here. Here we go. Minetest game had some improvements. Limit and sanitize form spec fields. It was possible to crash the server by putting, what was it, over 640 kilobytes, I think, of data into a form spec would crash, or make it just infinitely hang, I think. Fix player API set model, not updating the animation. I didn't know that was a thing, but okay. Ensure chest closed properly. I heard about that one. Ensure proper creative hand override. I never knew that was an issue. Fix error if home is executed with an invalid name. What? Since when can you put names into home? I don't even know what that means. Fix Wallcraft registrations. And Screwdriver got 4-direction node support. Neat. So, just to show it hasn't been abandoned. It just isn't getting any new content to anywhere because they want people to create other new content rather than just always doing everything Minetest game. Also, you know, again, developer, when you only have how many are there? I don't know, 12 core developers or something? I don't even know if it's that many, honestly. And most of them are the same people that were doing the Minetest game development. You don't have the time or the resources, again, to get all of these things done. The altruistic hacker, if they update the menu design, I hope that they don't oversimplify it. The worst thing they could do is start copying modern web development design trends, in my opinion. I've seen some of the stuff floating around. I don't know what's actually going on with that. I don't think there's a very clear, what's the word? I don't think there's a very clear, like, group opinion on it, which kind of holds things back because nobody really wants to put a lot of work or time into working on something to only get it rejected in the end. So you want to make sure before you dump a bunch of time into something that, you know, it's going to be useful. And when they can't come to an agreement on what exactly they're looking for, it's hard to know if you want to spend your time doing that when you could be spending your time doing something else that is either mod-based, where it doesn't really matter what anybody else says because you're doing it on your own, or it's just something else that has pretty much been given the green light where, you know, the work you're putting into it's not just going to get thrown out because, you know, it's decided, oh, we don't actually want to do that. Let's see. Web development killed computer user interfaces for me. I find them utterly unusable. The hamburger menu. What? You don't like the hamburger menu? I don't know why it ever got called the hamburger menu. That's such a stupid name for it. It's got nothing to do with hamburgers. Actually, I don't even... You have the hamburger menu someplace on your computer? I've only ever seen that on websites, I think. I'm looking at my file explorer right now. There's no hamburger menu listed here. Now I've got to look at other things to see if any of them have hamburger menus. Nope, nothing on LibreOffice. Nothing in Krita. Is this it? Oh no, that's just page flow or not in the PDF reader here. I don't see any hamburger menus in Linux Mint. Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough or something. I don't know. I have to recompile every time I update because they took away keys I use. Yeah. I just recompile every single day because I don't care. 4 a.m. 4 a.m., baby. What's that noise in the other room? Oh, that's just my computer recompiling Minetest. No big deal. Don't worry about it. I've never woken up. Nobody's ever woken up from Minetest compiling. Just to make that clear. Okay. Let's see here. We got, I think, because the potential is creating for execution vouchers, workforce just not used correctly, pausing the base game. I mean, you could fork Minetest game, and like people have done that. What was it? Minetest game reborn or extended or something, and basically they just took Minetest game and we're adding some new content to it. That is perfectly feasible of an option for anybody. And if you made something that was much better than Minetest game, which honestly isn't very difficult to do, with the new menu redesign, whenever that actually happens, I believe the plan is to not ship any games with Minetest at all and instead direct people to the content browser to download games, in which case the whole Minetest game thing not being actively developed wouldn't really matter because it wouldn't be shipped and people would find other games to play. And maybe they would still play Minetest game because it has the most variety of mods available for it. But still, that I think is still the plan. I don't know. I'm not an anybody, so I don't know what the plans are specifically, but yes. Okay. Interact with people on Discord, make people working on it, reject basically everything. I mean, I've seen some of that. Some of these things seem like they'd be simple enough features to be implemented, and people are even volunteering to implement it, but they're like, oh, but then we have to maintain that for forever, and we don't want to do that. I'm like, how much maintaining is there in a feature that's implemented properly? Like, if it works, you shouldn't have to maintain it, because how is it breaking? And if it breaks, then you either take the feature out, or you say, hey, this feature is broken, we need somebody to fix it. And hopefully the original person that implemented it comes in and makes the fix. So I get your frustration on that. I don't understand why some of those things are done that way. On Windows 10, there's a hamburger menu in the start menu. What kind of stupidity is that, Microsoft? Why? It's already a menu. Why are you putting a menu in the menu? That's ridiculous. I don't use Windows pretty much at all. There is one piece of, but I call this hardware? I have some machinery that has to, the software for the machinery, I should say rather, because the machine itself actually runs, like the onboard computer on the machine is running some sort of a Linux, of course, because it's cheap. But the software that you need to create the designs and stuff for the machinery, Windows only. Oh, I think Mac also, actually. But I'm definitely not getting a Mac. So I do have a virtual machine on this computer that I can run Windows. But I think I use like Windows 7 or something. It's kind of sketch. I had Windows 7 on a super old laptop that I bought brand new. That laptop I still actually have, but I installed Linux on it now because Windows 7 just barely would run on it anymore. So technically I legally own a license for Windows 7. It's just not on the same hardware, and I don't know how Microsoft feels about that, but you know what? What are they going to do about it? Like, I mean, other than now that I'm just admitting it, the VirtualBox isn't connected to the internet. So it's not like Microsoft can know that, hey, he has an unregistered copy of Windows 7. Do they even still support Windows 7? I don't think they do. But yeah. Otherwise, I don't use Windows at all. I have to alter on the key headed before recompiling. No, the hamburger menu I've seen on websites. I feel like I may have seen it in some web browsers. Oh yeah, here it is. In my web browser, top right hand corner, there's a hamburger menu, and you click on it, and then it just pulls up like your new tabs, new windows, private tabs, history, bookmarks, downloads, etc., etc., etc. Print, zoom, tools, zooms ins and zooms out. Oh, doesn't it have that screenshot thing where I can do a full screenshot of the entire web page? Anyway. Oh, Windows 7, the best Windows ever made, I think. Windows XP is probably like, I'll let you decide which one's which, but they're probably like this. I honestly don't know which one's better. Windows XP back in the day, that's what all my video games were on, man. Ages of Empires, Windows XP. Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator, Windows XP. What was the other one? There was some tank game. Rockstar Games made it. What was it called? Oh man, no, I can't remember the game. You drove these tanks around, one tank, and you had to collect power cores. And there was like 7 of them, I think, per like world, and then you could advance to the next one, and there was enemy tanks, of course, that would shoot at you. Multiplayer was a thing too, but growing up we only had one computer, and they didn't do split screen back in the day, so we never could do multiplayer. Well, technically you could, because you could host And then you could play on any of the worlds, but it was only just you. So it was kind of pointless. But yeah, that was Windows XP. Windows XP was good. Windows 7, it was alright. That was on that laptop that I bought. And ever since then, it just kind of, went down the toilet. Way to go, Microsoft. Good work, Bill Gates. You made another piece of garbage software. Can you consider an operating system software? I mean, technically it's software. It's not hardware. It's an operating system, though, but it's still software. Anyways. Question for a smarter person, maybe. Anyway, let's take a look at the change log here. See what kind of changes we have, because I haven't actually looked at this. Why is it not letting me zoom in? Oh, here we go. Is this big enough? That should be big enough, I would think. Okay. And we have some deprecations and compatibility notes. Default key for pitch move was removed. Oh. You just have to set it manually, though. I feel like they had changed it at some point, too, anyways. But okay. Special handling of key syntax and metadata values. I don't know what that even is. World with unresolved dependencies can no longer be loaded. That I knew they were doing, because I guess sometimes worlds would break. So essentially, if you had a world and it needed a mod, but then the mod, for whatever reason, didn't exist anymore, you would just get all these unknown nodes. Somehow, I guess the unknown nodes could somehow not work right when you re-enabled the mod, and then the world would just end up broken. I don't specifically know what the deal was. Maybe it was just a very weird, edge case. But I didn't know about that one. Default key from unlimited range was removed. Oh yeah, I just called range in the menu. Super descriptive. It really, really does not leave anything. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do at all. It really doesn't, it just says range select. Super helpful. I knew immediately that's what it was referring to. Clients, audio visuals. Yeah, let's see what kind of stuff we got here. Fix main menu error when submitting invalid port numbers. Okay. Oh, this one was funny. The chat prompt crash in very rare windows. So if you made your Minetest window like, I think 72 pixels wide, you could crash the game by opening chat. Like, so you would hit T to type in a chat message, and that would crash the game. How you could possibly ever play Minetest at 72 pixels wide, I don't know. I don't know how somebody ever discovered this bug. Like, what were you doing with Minetest that small? You're like, oh, let me see if I can still type a chat message. Like, could you even see a word in 72 pixels? You probably could, but not a very long word. Oh, it was funny. Missing shadows when sun tilts to 0. We got some Android stuff. OpenGLES 2 is the default driver. I don't do Minetest on Android. So I don't know anything about that. 8-time block meshes for improved performance. I think that's the thing I was reading about earlier that you have to change. Decrease the minimum for repeat place time. I thought that was a client setting. I wonder, it could have been clamped to a specific minimum though. So that might be what they did. Fix enter key after creating a new world. This was something where you would create a world and you'd hit enter and it would do something, but I don't remember what. I think it would load the world. So like you type in your world name and you'd hit enter. And instead of just taking you back to the menu page where you could then select which mods you wanted to use, it would just start the world up. So you'd have to close out of the world to enable the mods to relaunch the world. Couple clicks saved there. Improved chat history. Oh, I don't know if that'll work here. Let's try to do this one, because I think this was the thing. So I believe if you type something and then you hit the up arrow, then you hit the up arrow. So this is a standard thing in terminals. I don't know, command prompt on Windows probably does it as well. So you can type something in, and then in the, let me put up with F10. You can use the up and down arrow keys to scroll through the past commands, or in this case, chat messages you've sent. Well, in the past, and I think this is probably how it works in most places. I don't know. I've never actually tried this. But you could type something, and then if you hit the up arrow, you'd go back to your previous message, which is expected behavior. And then you'd hit the back arrow, or I guess the down arrow, and you would just go to a blank line because you hadn't sent that previous message. Now you hit the down arrow, and it pulls back up to whatever text you were inputting but hadn't sent yet, which I guess is neat. I don't know if a normal terminal does that. I guess I could find out really quick. Okay, that'll just throw up an error. So now if I type something and then go up. Oh, that is how it works in the terminal. Well, at least on Linux. Okay, so maybe that's a normal thing, and I've never used that feature because I don't know what you would use that feature for. But that's a thing now, so that's neat. Add dynamic exposure correction configured by the Lua API. Nice. The occlusion culling algorithm that we mentioned previously. Multiple threads for mesh generation. That's good. It's nice to see multiple threads finally actually being able to be used, because this has been a long thing. And multiple threads are kind of used. MapGen is locked to one thread, and then I think everything else gets another thread. It is how it used to be. But it was, I don't want to say it was an issue, but it was kind of annoying. Because like you could have a very fast processor when you combine all your threads, but your single thread performance could be garbage. Like I've got a 12 core, I think, and the 12 core total is 4.8 gigahertz. Is that what it is? Oh no, never mind. Wait, this is a 6 core. I thought it was a 12 core. Anyway, it's something core. 3.7 gigahertz. So I think that, I could be completely wrong on this. I'm making a fool of myself. I think that means each core is actually at like 0.5 gigahertz. Would that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense because that's only 500 megahertz. That can't be how that works. I don't know. All I know is you wanted higher single core count to run a server than a higher core count when there was multiple threads, I think, is how that works. Because it needed to be single core performance, not the entire processor performance, if that's making any sense. It's probably not, because it's not really making a lot of sense to me either now that I'm thinking about it a little more. But yeah, it's nice that I can use more than 2 cores out of the, I guess, 6 cores that my processor has. I could have sworn it was 12 core. I don't know why. Removed page flip 3D mode because broken. Nice to see that. Fixed progress bar look and HID DPI displays. I remember reading something about that, but I don't know what it was. Fixed point like gridded on world-aligned node-based textures. Didn't even know that was an option. Fixed issues caused by attached node placement prediction. Nice work, Turkey McMac. Avoid shadow flicker at certain angles. Good, good, good. There was, like, if the sun was, I think, directly above you, the side faces, the shadows would flicker because it couldn't decide if it should have shadow or if it shouldn't have shadow because the sunlight was pretty much straight in line with it. So I think they just gave it some bias. So it's has shadow and then it just doesn't. It doesn't do this whole goofy, I can't decide should there be a shadow or not. Chat, fix Unicode character crowded together on prompt. I don't know what that means. Take geographical distance into account for server list ordering. I don't have this showing. I'm an idiot. There we go. So I don't know. I never look at the server list, so I don't know. But it's supposed to be semi more accurate for ping because the pings are actually based off of the ping of the server to the server list, which is not the same as the ping from the server to your machine. So I think by kind of doing away with the ping and sorting geographically, it can look at the geography from your machine to the servers and list the, I don't actually know how the server list is listed, but the closer ones theoretically could be listed higher because they're closer to you. Therefore, they should have a lower ping. They don't necessarily have a lower ping, but they, in a perfect world, they would have a lower ping. But we all know that some people have slow internet and they're running from home. So their pings could actually be worse even though they're much closer. Fix sneaking unknowns with large collision boxes. I didn't know that was a broken thing. Faster light calculations for rendering. Nice. Man, I'm liking all this rendering stuff. Android, nah. Restore and enhance bouncy behavior. Bouncy nodes now let you control the jump height with the jump sneak keys. What? Don't know what that means. Liquid draw type fix, sometimes not rendering. DPI scaling to the main menu. Shadow updates efficiency, more shadow stuff. Introduce world align overrides. What are those? ZSTD compression support for more efficient map saving. Nice. Update floating nodes when liquid underneath vanishes. Floating nodes? What are floating nodes? Like falling nodes? Oh, I wonder if these are dropped nodes. No, because those drop to the bottom of the water. I don't know what that means. Script API, let's see. Blah, blah. I don't know anything about these. Improve Minetest close form spec, server-side safety. Okay. Handle node changes within another LBM and ABM loop. Hey, does that mean you can finally... What was the thing that I tried to do? There was a thing. The way ABMs are executed, they run, I forget which direction across the world. So you could set up an ABM to run on a node. I forget, what was I trying to do where this didn't work? Oh, I would think I was moving a node with an ABM. And the node would be in the first position and the ABM would move it, but that would move it into the second position. So then when the ABM ran on the second position, because the node was now in the second position, it moved it, and it just kept moving it all the way over. And it would only go in that one direction. And then if it was the other way, it would move one node, and then it would wait till the ABM cycled again, and then move the next node, wait till the ABM cycled again, move over one more node. So it worked fine in one direction. Well, I guess two directions. Because you'd have the X and Z directions. And it was probably going... I don't know if it would be going incrementally larger or smaller. But the one direction, it would work just fine on both. So say the number, your node position was getting higher, that's where it wouldn't work. And then if it was getting lower, it would work. Potentially that is fixed because of this. I'm not 100% sure. Blah, blah, blah. Chat HUD flag. Oh, yeah. So you can make the chat invisible or something, I think. Expose D time S to LBM handlers. I don't know what most of this stuff is, quite honestly. Add support for attached facer forwarder nodes. Don't know what that means. Allow rotating NT selection boxes. Yay! Fix form spec focus issue caused by empty element names. Don't know. Faster vector node and content ID when accessing using LuaJIT. Is it JIT? Git? LuaJIT? I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. I actually just installed that on my system for something unrelated. I don't know if it's made any difference for Minetest because I'm assuming... actually I might have to refresh the CMake cache. Or just delete it and force it to regenerate it for it to actually even know that it's there. Don't know. Another speed up. Find nodes in area. Nice. Add an item pickup callback. That's a thing now? I needed that for something. I don't remember what it was anymore. I probably won't ever fix it because I don't know what it was. Inconsistent craft replacement behavior. I feel like that's been a long-standing issue for a long, long time. We'll see if it's actually fixed. Add param type 2s for 4 horizontal rotations and 64 colors. Nice. Now, if only I had something where I could actually use that. I do. Oh, man. Do I want to do it, though? All of the, the furniture nodes in Epic and in Among Us, in our midst. Furniture is perfect for this. 4 horizontal rotations. A chair. The feet of the chair are always going to be on the floor. It only needs to be able to face north, south, east, west. It's the only directions it needs to face. So you could have 64 colors on it because you're only having 4 rotations. That's super great. I probably won't implement it, but it's nice to know that's possible, because otherwise you had 8 colors, I believe. 64 colors would give you so many options. I just force people to only get 8 options. But I know other people with an SE specifically, essentially, what was it, Unified Dyes, I think, just did a ton of palettes. So you could still get your full 256 shades of every color, but you just had to break it down to palettes of 8 for any nodes that were faster, right? Where it has, is it 64 different rotations? I forget how many ever rotate. It must be, yeah. 64 and 8 would be 256. And you have 256 bits. I think that's it. So that's neat. Nice that that's fixed. Allowed loop animation to be safely used with old clients. Didn't know that was an issue. Fixed crash from crafting callbacks return strings. I don't know what that means. Rendering cleanup codes, nice. Some Android improvements, I guess nice. Improve installation instructions, definitely nice. Not that I need them anymore because it automatically runs for me, but I remember when I was setting it up initially, and then when they switched over to using the Minetest fork of Ehrlich, however you pronounce that, pulling my hair out, man. I couldn't figure it out. Thankfully, I forget who. Somebody on the forums had a post about how to make it work. The guy that did 3D Armor. Why can't I think of who it was? Anyway, they had an explanation and I got it fixed. And it hasn't changed since. Dev test changes, nice. Unit test improvements. I mean, theoretically, that means better finding of bugs before they become bugs, right? I don't do unit tests. I just let my players find the bugs for me, and then hopefully they get fixed at some point by me. But I don't know. Okay, let's see what's been going on in the chat when I haven't been looking at. Okay, so we had the hamburger menu debacle here. Blah blah blah. Hamburger menu. Okay, blah blah blah. XP. Oh yeah, about the XP thing. Okay, here we go. macOS before they started copying UI design elements from iOS. You know, that's never made any sense to me because I don't think it's. Have I ever used it? Yeah, I have used Macs. I've never understood why anybody would do that though. Like, that's the big thing with Windows. What are they running now? Windows 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't even know. Whatever it is, like, we're gonna unify the desktop and mobile experience. It's like, why? Why would you do that? That literally makes no sense. People on a desktop are on there because they want a desktop. People on a phone are on there because they want a phone. Don't cripple my desktop to be some garbage phone that doesn't have a legit keyboard. You know? I'm using a desktop that cost me, how many ever thousands of dollars, which isn't very hard to do on a desktop, because I want the performance benefits. And then you're going to give me some garbage UI like a cell phone, and now what was the point of me buying good hardware? I may as well just have a garbage tablet, because it's essentially what you're giving me, Microsoft. Thanks. As you can tell, I'm not a big fan of Microsoft. So yes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's a desktop. I don't need a touch screen interface on it. I have a mouse and a keyboard. Like, I'm not touching my computer screen to do things. I'm just going to get fingerprints all over it, and then it's going to look like garbage. On a cell phone, when you're pushing it in and out of your pocket all day long, you kind of smudge the fingerprints off, and it's not an issue. I've got I don't even know what this is, a 32-inch? Let me just pull this up real quick. Because if I pull up my display, it'll tell me what size screens these are. Yeah, I got two 32-inch screens and a 27-inch screen. Like, I'm not going to be taking these screens and, here, let me rub it down because I got some fingerprints on it because, I had to touch my computer screen to do stuff because that's the way Windows decided to make it. I don't know. I could go on for ages about how that's just so dumb. Blah, 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 blah. Minetest on an ESP32. I don't Can an ESP32 output graphics? I bet you somebody's got a library. Oh, actually, you know what? Somebody does have a library because I have seen a thing. An ESP32 with like a 32 pixel, I think, OLED screen. 32 by 32 pixel, whatever that comes out to for actual, whatever it's considered, not resolution, but the amount of pixels on it. So yes, I think somebody does have one. However, in 32 pixels, you could probably get the Minetest logo. I don't think you could play the game on it. Maybe it was a little bit larger than 32 pixels. I'm not really sure what that was for. I just remember seeing it. I've got some ESP. Actually, do I have the 32s? I think the 32s. I've got some of them hooked up for some home automation stuff, you know, motion detectors, lights, blinds, things like that. So I'm kind of familiar with them. Neat little hunks of hardware, gotta say. But yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get Minetest on that. Now Doom, on the other hand, Doom you could run on a potato. Didn't somebody actually do that once? Like they put the hardware inside of a potato. Anyways, I digress. What else do we have here? Blah 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 blah. It's not just the. Oh yeah, the okay. Do over exaggerate how much of a problem I have with my design. Quite impressed with Minetest performance improvements. I'm at the spawn point of my server and frame rate's really good. Serves an Anarchy server in the spawn region is a giant lava cast. Viewing range set to 400. Nice. Can I ask what's the name of the minimap mod? The minimap mod, that's just part of Minetest game. F9 will toggle it. What's it called? I took it out, so actually I don't think it's in here. Oh, no, it is. Well, that's weird. Is there a privilege? Okay, usually in base Minetest game, you have to have this mapping kit in order to pull the mini-map up. I want to see the craft recipe. Some steel, paper, stick, glass, wood, and black dye. I'm not sure if I bypassed this because of a privilege I have, or if I just made it so you don't need the mapping kit to get the map. I'm not positive. But it's part of Minetest game. If you're not doing something based on Minetest game, chances are it is available to you with just, well, it may not be F9. I think that's the default key, but you would otherwise, if you look at your key bindings, just toggle minimap. And in this case, it's F9. Your case could be different, but that is where you would get that from should you need it. Also, new shadow shaders enabled. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Someone says no. Oh, this was even talking to the, in response to the whole CPU thing. The cores run depending on the governor and the gigahertz changes depending on the load and temperature. Oh, well, if an ESP can do 1920 by 480, you could run Minetest on that. I mean, assuming the hardware was performant enough with a display of that size is what I mean. You could easily run Minetest on a display of 1920 by 480. I mean, would that make it super widescreen? I don't really know how the field of view would be handled, but you have enough width where you could see your hotbar and stuff. I don't know how this menu would display. I think it would just be shrunk really short, so it'd be made real small. But I mean, if you were really, really into it, you could rewrite all of your form specs so that they were wider instead of being, 8 wide and 4 tall. That gives us what, 48? No, it gives us 32. Where did I learn to do math? Man, people are gonna think I went to public school. You could redo the maths and make it so it displayed wider and fewer. Or, I mean, because who says you have to have 32 slots? You could have 30, and you could have 3 at 10 wide. Or you could have 2 at 15 wide, quite honestly. at 1920 by 480, you'd probably want to have 15 wide and 2 tall. And I know somebody had a mod that would change how many icons, whatever you want to call them, down here in your hotbar. It can be done. Again, I don't know if the ESP32 is performant enough to actually run it, but the screen would definitely fit it. Diane Sancho, hello to you. The altruistic hacker. I got 2 different ones. This one's epic. And then the other one is in our midst. I seen a chat message here. Silver Penguin said, "Give my base a flyby, will you?" I would have to know where your base was, and I don't. However, I believe I seen it in here. Da 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 da. Over mountain? Oh, well, that's... Oh, wait, yeah, I think this might be the one. Ooh! Is this the one that you're building larger? I think it is. Oh, and then this is somebody else's. Gotta say, they did a nice job. I think I actually had to repair this one at one point, because somehow it got messed up. Nice little rope bridges. Some not so nice scaffolding. There's no railing to protect you. You could fall and die. Hey, I found it. Is this it's a rail line. Where does it go to? Oh, this might be a bit of a trek. Oh, hey, there was a cart on it, moving the other direction. Oh, there's another cart. Where does this thing go? What are we? 360 nodes in the air. Oh, and now it goes down to tunnel through. Wait, and disappears. Oh, it actually does. It just ends. Okay, well, I'm not really sure. Oh no, it had to build a dummy image because it couldn't load image castle crossbow inventory 1. Oops, that's probably my fault. What's my viewing range at right now? Let's put it up to like 800. And then let's toggle this to get rid of the fog, right? Yeah, so now the fog's gone. So now we can see... Let's see the island. Coming along nicely. I think I just went through some glass there, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, here we got the scaffolding. Nice stairway for the multiple floors. Very nice, very nice. Good old Cloudlands. Okay. There's your... Oh, hey! We got some cacti! They weren't actually meant to be stacked like this, which is why they don't really fit. Also, they don't have faces on the bottom of them. Because gotta save those... Well, the faces. It makes them render faster if there's not faces on the bottom where you can't see them. I don't know how much truth there is actually to that. I don't know if Minetest is smart enough to just occlude invisible faces. I don't think it is. So I'm pretty sure I'm actually doing everybody a favor by not putting the faces on the bottoms of things. I think. Yeah, pretty sure. I could be wrong, but pretty sure. Oh, you just want to see it from some different angles? Yeah, we can do this. Let's we can go higher. Just do a nice little circle round about it. And a nice smooth 60 frames a second. Oh, that wasn't smooth though. Oh, here, let me turn off all this junk. And let me turn off that. There we go. Nice and clean. All the angles. Oh, this is actually pretty nice. There is a mod that does this for you. I don't remember what it's called, but I did a mod review on it a while back. A long while back, I think. You could do orbits like this. Well, you couldn't do the elevation change in the orbits, I don't think. But you could select a point, say 50 nodes away from you, and then just rotate around it, always looking at it. Pretty nice, to be quite honest. Oh wait, this is making so much more sense to me now that I'm going around it. So the plan is for the island to be the shape of the stone here. For some reason, I was thinking that the stone already existed. But no, this is all stone you've built in. Dude, that's a ton of stone. Someplace there's just a giant hole in the world where all the stone was excavated from. I see you've left it empty. Very wise choice. Man, the amount of stone you'd have to use to fill that? Woo-wee! So much stone. I didn't realize that's what was going on here. Wow. So then all the dirt on top of the stone to build the island out. Okay. This is quite the large undertaking. So I'm assuming the dirt that's there with the grass on it right now is about the size of the original. And then you're expanding it out. I'll make for quite the nice base. Yeah, no kidding. That's so much stone. But it looks so natural. You did a really good job. I mean, especially this little, I don't want to call it a stalactite, but I mean, if the scaffolding wasn't sitting there, I would have thought that was a naturally occurring. And like this little bit coming into here. This is done so well. It looks like it's map gen. Excellent work. Excellent work. Okay. So that's that. What else? Was there anything else? I don't think there was anything else going on here. Servers are staying online. Videos are kind of going bye-bye for the most part. I'll still be making some videos every here and there. I do want to... I don't know if any of you are going to remember this. I wonder if I can even get a date on it. I think the last one I did was the... Yeah, this. Let's see. Do the properties say? Says it was created Sunday, December 26, 2021, creating a server for my Minetest modding course that never went anywhere. If that's actually accurate, that means it's been 2 years since I've touched this. And I know that video was way after. So currently I have a title for the draw types lesson. Controls how nodes are displayed. Surprise, surprise. And then I have one picture. Chapter 2, lesson 5. Can I get some information on this? This says it was... Wait a minute, what? It says it was created the same time, but it was modified February 2019. I have a feeling this must have been copied back onto this machine from off of a different machine. How would I find out this information? I was working on this modding course. Where is my web browser? There it is. I got all these windows and I still don't have enough, windows. I've got all these screens and I still don't have enough screens to just put every window, you know, so they're not buried and all on top of each other and stuff. It's terrible. Okay, anyway. Let me look, see if I can even find this. Modding course. Okay, so yeah, the last one that was put out was the textures lesson. Chapter 2, lesson 4, published March 19th, 2019. And it's now April of 2023. So 4 years ago, you know, that's 4 years ago, right? Yeah, it's 4 years. So it's not like anybody's ever expecting any more lessons to this, but I would like to get back to it and actually get some more of these lessons done. Because believe it or not, this is terrible. I have all the chapters put together: coding, make a mod, GUIs, APIs. There was a whole chapter just on Blender. well, this one's kind of outdated now. Sub games, because they're just games now. There was a chapter on CSMs. I don't even know if that's even still a worthwhile thing. I don't know if that's ever going to go anywhere. Distribution. Oh, I think that was just going to have like one lesson in it. I see I have nothing put in that chapter file. We have an appendix, which currently just has the creating a server. Anyways, this whole thing was all planned out. Like, I got scripts for all kinds of stuff. And then it fizzled because I didn't have the time to do it because, I was maintaining the servers, doing the mod reviews, I was doing some Let's Plays, I was doing server videos, plus just, life, running a farm and, and being a responsible adult and doing things with family. And so I just never had the time to finish it. So I do want to get back to that. So maybe we'll see a resurgence in that instead of other things. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. I'm going to make a ton more money running an actual business versus YouTube running an actual business and them making a buttload of money off of me. I don't actually know if they make a buttload of money off of me or not. I wouldn't really particularly think so. But yeah, like I said earlier, in the last 90 days, it was, what was it, $9 or something? And you can kind of figure this. For every video I upload, say it's about 20 minutes, because I think that's probably where they average to, is about 20 minutes. That means, well, A, there was at least 20 minutes of recording, because the final time of the edited video has to be shorter than the raw footage, because you can't make it longer without recording more. So every video that's uploaded, you can figure probably 3 times whatever that video's length is how much work I put into it. So if it's a 20-minute video, I probably spent an hour recording it, editing it, exporting it, which you can kind of be like, well, you can't really count the export because you don't have to do anything. You just click a button. And sure, I agree, that's fair. But you still have to set your export settings. You have to export the file. You have to export twice because all of the videos, again, were being uploaded to YouTube and other platforms that didn't do 2K support. So I had to export a 1080 version and a 2K version. Then there's the whole upload process. Then you have to fill in all of, titles and the descriptions and the tags and the video thumbnails and all of this stuff. And then updating the website, putting all the links in, doing the descriptions there, copying all the links for like the downloads and stuff. Essentially, if the video's 20 minutes, it means I put at least an hour of work into it. And I'm not complaining about that. I enjoyed doing it. But fiscally, there's no money to be made in YouTube. Fiscally, is that the right word? Probably not. But anyway, there's really not any money to be made in YouTube unless you have bajillions of subscribers, like, the YouTubers that have a bajillion subscribers and are making bank. I just ain't gonna happen here. So that's kind of the reason. I'm not like going. It just like extremely way fewer. Also, I should mention this just in case anybody out there was thinking about hiring me for freelance work, or any of the people that currently have me hired for freelance work see this video and think that means I'm quitting my freelancing. I'm not quitting the freelancing because freelancing, surprise, surprise, actually pays pretty well. Way better than YouTube does. So the freelancing stuff is still ongoing. So for those of you who may see this that have jobs currently open with me, I'm still doing those. Don't worry about it. And for anybody who maybe sees this in the future and wants to hire me to do some stuff, shoot me an email, man. Because I still do freelance stuff. Mostly I'm trying to just do like models and stuff. Kind of don't want to do code too much because it turns into a nightmare, okay? I've done code for some people, and sometimes it's not bad. Like if I'm just adding some node registrations and hey, that's all fine and dandy. But then suddenly it's like, oh, I want you to do this. Oh, and can you do this too? Oh, and can you add this in too? Oh, and this too? And then you start getting these bugs and errors. And like, oh, I'm getting this error. Can you fix it? I'm like, well, I never had that error. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why you're getting it. I can't replicate it. And because they paid you for it, you're like, oh, kind of need to fix it, but I can't figure out why it's not working because it works just fine for me. And then turns out, oh, it's actually some other mod at fault, not my mod. Well, I guess technically their mod because I was paid for it, so they own it and they have the copyright on it. But yeah, it just turns into a nightmare. So much easier when I'm just making a model and some textures, and I'm like, yep, here you go. And then if they have, a bug with the code, hey, that's their problem, not mine. So yeah, that's still on the table if you need any stuff. Like I said, the servers are staying online. I don't know how many kind of updates they're gonna be getting. As I mentioned earlier, that NPC talks after the simple dialogue or what it was called does look pretty interesting. I might look at implementing that, but I'd have to get an NPC system up and running first in our midst. I do have a lot of stuff I want to do on that server yet, but I just, with starting up the small business and stuff, we've been really busy with other things that are more important because they make money. And again, obviously, running a server doesn't make money. Technically, it costs money because, the electricity bill's teeny bit higher because that server's using a couple extra cycles to run a Minetest server in addition to the normal NAS and Docker and whatever else is all even running on that machine. I don't even know anymore. There's way too many things on there. Yeah. Hopefully it never crashes because, man, that would be a nightmare to fix. I mean, I've got backups. Okay. So fingers crossed if it did crash, it would just be restore all the backups. It's more of if the IP address of the machine changed, going through and changing every single thing that connects to those and updating all the IPs, like all of the different computers in the house have to go into the, what's it called? File system table and relink all of the network shares to the new IP address. It's probably possible to just go into the server and change the IP address of it somehow. I don't know how to do that because I'm not a sysadmin and I've never just Googled how to do that. So every time this happens, it just happened twice. Not a full system crash, just of other things where we've had to go through and update a bunch of IP addresses. It's a pain in the butt. It's so stupid. I don't know why I haven't never looked at how to change it because I'm sure it's possible. But yeah, it's so much fun when computer things break. Especially because you never have time planned to fix things that break. And then it breaks and it's like, well, great, now I have to fix this right now because, we rely on it for stuff. It's a nightmare. So, fingers crossed, arms crossed, eyes crossed, legs crossed. I'd cross my toes, but I can't cross my toes. Hopefully no issues there. Yes. Okay, well, I think we're going to wrap things up here. Yeah. It's been a fun ride, guys. Like I said, there'll still be some videos coming out here and there, every here and there a bit. If you have, why can't I think now? If you have a mod that you want me to review, you'd still feel free to use that form on my website, or you could even just email me directly, assuming you can find my email. It's not hard, mytest@nathansalpad.com, and you can request them, and we'll still try to push some out. They won't be weekly. I'm thinking like maybe once or twice a month. We'll see. Thanks for watching, and I guess see you next time, whenever that is. And now that I'm not on the stream page, I don't know how to end this. Where do I go? How do I get this back? YouTube, how do I do this? They're always changing things. Okay, here we go. So now I need to go your live control room and end stream.